and of which Bitcoin is extremely powerful, and so is the whole crypto space. That's not to say everything's a winner, because you're going to have losers too. But overall, the space is growing exponentially. So the world that we know today is going to be as different as the world was, probably more so. I think this will be the largest change in history. So more than the world we saw in 2000 and from 2000 to 2010, the change from 2020 to 30 is going to be absolutely ridiculous. We've ascertained that the Fed balance sheet is actually falsely goosing the price of assets, right? Because the denominator's changed. It's not from liquidity of the Fed are printing money and people are buying the stock market, because stock market volumes have been falling for years. So it's not that. It's actually to do with this denominator effect. And the central banks are basically printing, on average, about 15% a year. So for you to make actual wealth, you need to beat 15%, because 15% of the stock market return is just the denominator. Okay, so how the hell do you make 15% in this world? Well, we all kind of know crypto, and we've all understood it. And we start to understand, and I've been a big driver behind it, people understanding network effects, exponential trends, and how that plays out. But in thinking about this whole denominator effect, I started to think about, okay, where can I get 15%? Well, that rules out pretty much most of the, major equity indices. It probably rules out the bond market, rules out the credit market, it rules out FX markets. There's pretty much nowhere to do it until you start thinking, maybe I can apply what I've learned in crypto. And I started thinking about things like Amazon and Apple and Google and Facebook, and realizing all of us macro guys got all of those wrong, every one of them. And I'll put my hand up. I got it wrong. It's a bubble. Amazon should not be trading a P of 600. Amazon is worth more than every other bookseller in the world. Remember, this sounds like Tesla, right? It's worth more than every other bookseller in the world. This is ridiculous. It's worth more than all the books ever printed. This is ridiculous. It's because Amazon was never a book company. It was a network. And once you understand that, you understand its valuation, which means it trends logarithmically. Thinking about that, it then dawned on me when I was looking at my door in Cayman. I put on a trade with regards to carbon credits in EU, and realizing in researching that investment, I realized that the EU and everybody else was extremely serious about the timelines of what they're going to do to create a green revolution. And then I looked at the door in Cayman. I thought, every one of these cars is gone in 10 years. Everybody's going to buy new cars. And we're seeing the explosive rise of EV. And the governments are going to incentivize that. And then they're incentivizing investment in green technology. So we've got EVs, green technology, and on the top of it, why is Tesla worth more than all the other car companies? Well, because they're in with a potential chance, not a certainty, but the option of cracking autonomous vehicles or other uses of their car data network. At the same time, we're rolling out 5G globally. And in places that don't get 5G, Starlink is coming. And not only is Starlink coming, which is another Elon Musk thing, not only is Starlink coming, but there's 3 or 4 others coming across the world, spreading satellite Wi-Fi to everybody.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
So we're about to give the rest of the world, which is probably 2 billion people that don't have access to high-speed data, at extremely low cost. Then we've built a system of money that's based on this digital technology, which is all the crypto markets. Then we're adding in autonomous vehicles that will be using this 5G technology to navigate. Then you've got the rise of distributed computing power. So in the world of Moore's law, where's the power going to come from the semiconductors? Well, it's not. It's going to come from the network itself. So you can drive more computing power. So what does that mean? It means things like the Human Genome Project gets cracked super quick because you've got massive computing power, you've got massive access to data, and now you can apply another exponential trend, AI, to it. So we're now doing things at exponential rates. So we've got exponential adoption of exponential technologies that all interact into a larger network of the digital world, all at the same time within 10 years. Because every one of these is not now a pipe dream that they were 10 years ago, where we all started talking about them. They're all a reality. And there's a load more behind that. We've got robotics as well. We've got wearable devices, the Internet of Things. I mean, the list is kind of endless. And for me as a macro guy, I made my money basically trading the downside. You collect a bit of coupons on the upside and you make a killing when the concentrated returns came in downside because you could use options and leverage. But now we've got an opportunity as macro investors to invest in the upside, which most of us in crypto have got used to. It's that infinite call option in an exponential trend where you don't mind the volatility because it gets more than compensated in the returns. So that's where I think we're going. And so that's why it's very important, because the crypto revolution is part of this. It's all part of this same massive digitization of the world that is underway. Volatility is a bad word if it's suppressed. So when it's suppressed, you tend to get hyper volatility. And those things like often happen in credit markets. You know, you're making 3% returns and then you lose 50%, right? So the returns don't compensate for the risk. Volatility, particularly in these logarithmic or exponential trends, you tend to get compensated for the risk. So if I went back and actually did a Twitter post on this yesterday, if you look at the volatility in these network models, Facebook, Google, Amazon, they've had huge volatility.
Yep.
But the trend has been exponential. So you've been more than compensated. And Bitcoin's even more volatile and you've been even more compensated. So, you know, that's, some people can look at it as a sharp ratio, or you might look at it, if you look at the skew to the upside, a Sortino ratio, and of which Bitcoin is extremely powerful. And so is the whole crypto space. That's not to say everything's a winner, because you're going to have losers too. But overall, the space is growing exponentially.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.